He's only beaten one guy in the top 5 of his division, and he wants to move up for champ. Did you see this? Islam Makhachev came out and said that he wants the winner of Colby and Leon Edwards. He's talked about it a fair bit before, man. And it sounds wrong, doesn't it? Like, somewhere along the line, we came up with this rule that you need to have a certain amount of title defenses before you can, like, move up and challenge for champ. But before we get into that question, fam, I did ask you in a recent video, should a contender ever turn down a title opportunity? And man, did we have some fun down in the comments. Quintin Lennox said, any fight without the number 2 contender is a watered down attempt to keep some money flowing. Eventually, DDP will have to fight the champ whether Dana White likes it or not. I like to call this the Max Holloway effect, but what it is the undeniable contender, and I love this so much. Max Holloway's done it, Robert Whittaker did it, Bilal is doing it, Leon Edwards has done it before. It's where the contender just wins so many fights that Dana has no choice, and the fans get so loud that they have to put him up there. I mean, we are now in a situation where we are talking about whether or not it could be Volkanovsk versus Max Holloway 4. So yeah, I agree. Even though Dana might be a little bit annoyed with DDP for not taking that fight on 6 weeks notice, if a contender just keeps pushing hard enough, they can become completely undeniable. But let's get back into this Islam Makhachev discussion about whether or not he can fight for champ, because it does feel like there needs to be a certain amount of title defenses, doesn't there? And that seems fair, but I think we need to remember that when champ was introduced to us, it was by Conor McGregor, right? And he had never defended the 145 belt when he moved up to 155. In fact, I don't think McGregor even ever defended the 155 belt. I think by the time that he came back, Khabib was already the champion and he fought Khabib, or maybe he had the tune-up fight with Cowboy for, or whatever way it was, right? I can't exactly remember the right order of the fights. But I don't think McGregor has ever defended any belt that he's ever had in the UFC, like ever. And he set the precedent for champ. So now Makhachev will have defended his title twice, but he will have defended his title twice against someone that isn't in the top 5 of his division, right? Which just makes it feel sort of wrong that he wants to move up. And he got his title opportunity against someone who wasn't in the top 5 of the division at the time, or has ever been, I don't think, Bobby Green, right? So it feels like he wants to move up, but it's like, man, you haven't really done any hard, solid work at lightweight, but that also feels unfair. Like, he has beaten one of the all-best lightweights of all time, in my opinion, Charles Oliveira. And apparently he beat him so badly that Charles Oliveira is now being accused that he is like faking this cut and he's too scared to fight Islam Makhachev again. That's how badly he's beaten him. Plus, if he's beaten Volkanovsk coming up at the next UFC pay-per-view, that means he will have beaten one of the pound-for-pound, like, greatest fighters in our sport of all time twice. And there's still that feeling of like, no, stop, fight Gaethje, fight Poirier, or fight Sarukian. But I mean, my brain is like, why would we bother with those fights? I mean, isn't Islam Makhachev meant to be this evolved version of Khabib Nurmagomedov, right? Like all the wrestling plus extra striking. So you've got this idea of a younger, more well-rounded Khabib, right? Against the exact same group of guys that Khabib destroyed, except now that group of guys, they're older, and Poirier probably has a weaker chin now that he suffered that terrible head kick KO from Gaethje. I mean, is there a point where Makhachev just has the same effect that Volk has in his division, where he's just so good, the media and the fans just want him to vacate and move up anyway? Like, at what point can Islam Makhachev fight for champ? And put that down in the comments. That's what I want to hear about today. When is the right time for him to move up? My heart says that you should defend it against 3 of your top 5 contenders. But my brain is saying, like, Islam might be so good, why even bother with those fights? And then my brain is also saying that, what if Colby wins, right? I mean, Islam Makhachev versus Colby Covington is almost like a parody, remake, funny movie of Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov against Khabib, right? Except like it's a remake, so the characters are a little bit different, but it's almost the same fight. And then my brain is just showing me like Dana White counting the money, because that was our sport's highest selling pay-per-view of all time. And then there is a chance to go and repeat it. I guess it's almost like how Dana says, we'll see what happens. I think that if Colby Covington beats Leon Edwards, Dana White is going to be very, very interested in letting Islam Makhachev move up and challenge for champ. Because there is that inbuilt storyline there. It's going to create a huge amount. It's going to create a huge amount of sales, huge amount of numbers. If Leon Edwards does it, I mean, Islam's got that massive fan base that'll follow him anywhere he goes. Trust me, if you say a bad word about these guys, the fans are right there. It's like they click on every Islam video. It's insane. I guess it all does depend on whether or not Islam puts on an impressive performance against Volkanovsk and whether or not Colby Covington beats Leon Edwards. The real question is, guys, when can Islam Makhachev move up and challenge for champ? Leave that down there in the comments. I love hearing from you all. If you have been enjoying these videos, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button down there, and I'll see you all in the next one.